thank you. You will answer ear. I think you know that ear consists of external ear. External ear, that is what? Auricular, and external acoustic meatus. Then middle ear, that is tympanic cavity, and inner ear, which is consists of bony and membranous labyrinths. External ear, or auricular. Auricular has this external edge of auricular, that is helix, and opposite to helix we have anthelix. Here it is, anthelix. Then in front of external acoustic meatus, here it is, we have cartilage makes it look like tubercle, that is tragus, and opposite to tragus, here it is, that is antitragus. Antitragus in lower part of anthelix. And from here start external acoustic meatus. This meatus consists of bony part in temporal bone and cartilaginous part. And external acoustic meatus is not straight, it has S shape. That is why if in time of medical checkup you need to see tympanic membrane, here it is. In this case you should move auricular upward, backward and laterally, this way in adults. In children necessary to move auricular downward. And skin of external acoustic meatus has specific glands. They are sebaceous glands, which produced earwax. That is glandula ceruminosum. Glandula ceruminosum. Next, tympanic membrane. Tympanic membrane, it is insert into tympanic groove, sulcus tympanicus, and tympanic membrane on external surface it supplies with skin. On inner surface here it is mucous membrane, and between skin and mucous membrane we have fibrous tissue, and peripheral part of fibrous tissue has radial direction, and in central part they have spiral direction of fibers. In upper part of tympanic membrane, small part of tympanic membrane have not got fibrous tissue. This here it is, tympanic membrane consists only from skin and mucous membrane, and fibrous tissue is absent. We speak this part like pars flaccida, All another part of tympanic membrane, that is pars tensa. Next, tympanic cavity, middle ear. Give me this basket. Move it from here. What is it? That is model of what? Temporal bone. It looks like temporal bone. Here it is pars squamosa, that is pars tympanica, and here it is pars petrosa. And now we cut temporal bone, and now we can see middle ear or tympanic cavity, that is cavum tympani. And tympanic cavity has 6 walls. Lateral wall, where I put tympanic membrane. Okay. Thank you. Oh, this lateral wall, it closes with tympanic membrane. That is why lateral wall of tympanic cavity, that is parius membranous part, or wall, membranous wall. Parius, that is wall. Then middle wall, that is parius labyrinthicus. because immediately from this wall, here it is, we have labyrinths of inner ear. That is why Parius labyrinthicus. Next, anterior wall. In front from anterior wall, we have canal where, what is this artery? What is this artery? Internal carotid artery. That is why this canal is canalis caroticus, where internal carotid artery take place. That is why name of anterior wall, that is Parius caroticus. Posterior wall, behind of posterior wall, what is it? What is this process? This, remember, mastoid process. That is why name of posterior wall is Parius mastoidus. Parius mastoidus. And superior wall. If you remember, upper part of pyramid of temporal bone has name tegmen tympani. That is why roof of tympanic cavity, that is Parius tegmentalis. And last, inferior wall. Below of inferior wall we have jugular foramen. That is why name of inferior wall Parius jugularis. Anterior wall Parius caroticus, it has opening, that is auditive tube. Auditive tube, that is communication between middle ear and what? Nasal part of pharynx. It has bony part in temporal bone, and then cartilaginous part which opens into nasal part of pharynx. And what is the function of auditive tube? It's equalize pressure, atmospheric pressure and pressure in middle ear. It is very good for tympanic membrane, because if auditive tube closed, in this case tympanic membrane can be broken under the strong sound. And posterior wall, it has eminence pyramidalis, pyramidal eminence, and from this eminence start stapedius muscle, musculus stapedius. Who remember which cranial nerve supplies this seventh? That is facial nerve. Anterior wall has another muscle, that is musculus tensor tympani. And which cranial nerve supplies tensor tympani muscle? No? More exact? Mandibular, yes, mandibular nerve, it supplies musculus tensor tympani. Well, and middle wall Parius membranaceus, it has two windows. One is oval window, that is fenestra vestibuli, and another window is round, fenestra cochlea. In tympanic cavity we have three bones, which makes true joints. They are malleus, incus, and stapes. Three bones. Malleus, it consists of head, and this also. Malleus, it consists of head and manubrium malleus. Manubrium fused with the muscle, musculus tensor tympani, and head of malleus fused with tympanic membrane. That is why if muscle moves malleus tense, it can tense tympanic membrane. Head of malleus makes joint with next bone, that is incus. Incus consists of body, short and long crus brevis and crus longum, and long crus has processus lenticularis. and joint between malleus and incus, that is articulatio incudo-mallearis. And last bone, that is stapes. Stapes consist of head, caput stapedius, two branches, crus anterior and crus posterior, and base, basis stapedius. Head of stapes makes joint with processus lenticularis of incus, and name of this joint is articulatio incudo-stapedius. And stapedius muscle attached to posterior crus of stapes. That is why posterior crus is more convex than anterior crus. Anterior crus is straight and posterior crus is more convex. They are bones in middle ear. And now, base of stapes insert into oval window, fenestra vestibuli. And give me labyrinth. Yes, here it is. Good, thank you. That is inner ear or labyrinth consists of bony part, that is bone, that is bony labyrinth, and inside of bone we have this blue color, that is membranous labyrinth, bony and membranous labyrinth. And labyrinth consists of vestibule. Here it is vestibule. In front from vestibule we have what? Cochlea. And behind of vestibule we have three semicircular canals. Canalis semicircularis anterior, canalis semicircularis posterior, and canalis semicircularis lateralis. Now we continue to speak about cochlea, and I explain auditor analyzer, and then we will speak about vestibule and this semicircular canal, and I will draw statokinetic analyzer or vestibular analyzer. We already said that it is vestibule, and in vestibule we have two windows, oval, fenestra vestibuli, and round, fenestra cochlea. And I already said that base of the stapes insert into fenestra vestibuli or oval window and fused with the help of connective tissue with walls of this window. And now that is cochlea, and cochlea have 2.5 waves, and I draw cochlea like straight tube. Look here. Look here. Can you move it from? That is cochlea, and I draw cochlea like straight tube. I think that in histology you draw this diagram, that is cochlea, and inside of cochlea we have cochlear duct, ductus cochlearis. Do you know this diagram? That is ductus cochlearis, and ductus cochlearis is smaller than canal of cochlea, and that is ductus cochlearis inside, that is ductus cochlearis, and above of ductus cochlearis, this space between bone and ductus cochlearis, this space, that is what? Scala vestibuli, above of cochlear duct. And below of cochlear duct, here it is, number 2, that is scala tympani. And scala vestibuli is start from oval window, that is beginning of scala vestibuli, and we already said that oval window closed with the help of base of stapes, that is a stapes. And fenestra cochlea or round window, it's closed with a secondary tympanic membrane. And this space, that is fenestra vestibuli and fenestra cochlea, this space, it has perilymph, because that is perilymphatic space. perilymph, that is a fluid. And if stapes insert into fenestra vestibuli, it moves perilymph, and perilymph goes to the apex of cochlea, and on the apex, scala vestibuli and scala tympani, they have communication. This opening has name helica trema, and perilymph goes to scala tympani and moves secondary tympanic membrane. If stapes insert into fenestra vestibuli, in this case, perilymph goes to the apex through helica trema, goes to scala tympani and moves secondary tympanic membrane to in fenestra cochlea. Then secondary membrane, it goes back in fenestra cochlea, and perilymph goes to opposite side. And all time we have movement of perilymph here in scala vestibuli and in scala tympani, and movement of perilymph continues to tectorial membrane, that is membrana tectoria, in ductus cochlearis, and below of this membrane we have organ of Corti, and these sensory cells attached to tectorial membrane, and impulse, nervous impulse start from sensory cells in organ of Corti and continues to ganglion. What is the name of this ganglion in cochlea? Oh, spiral ganglion, ganglion spiralis, spiral ganglion, that is ganglion of pars cochlearis, of vestibulocochlear nerve. And this vestibulocochlear nerve goes to which department of brain? It goes to pons, and in pons we have two cochlear nuclei. Who remember? Yes, nucleus cochlearis dorsalis and nucleus cochlearis ventralis. From dorsal nucleus, from nucleus cochlearis dorsalis, axons goes to dorsal surface of pons, goes to opposite side, and makes on the surface of pons stria medullaris ventriculi quarti, number 1. And from ventral nucleus, the same axons goes to opposite side through trapezoid body and makes number 2, that is trapezoid body, and together stria medullaris and trapezoid body makes lemniscus lateralis, and lemniscus lateralis goes to midbrain, and subcortical auditory center present in inferior colliculus of midbrain and in medial geniculate body, corpus geniculatum mediale. This nucleus, they are second neuron, and here it is third neuron. From corpus geniculatum mediale, axons goes to brain cortex through internal capsule, that is radiatio acoustica or central acoustic tract, which goes to gyrus temporalis superior, middle part of gyrus temporalis superior, that is cortical center of auditory analyzer. And from nuclei in inferior colliculus we have tractus, help me, tecta spinalis, and today you already draw this tract, tractus tecta spinalis. It goes to spinal cord and finished where? And nuclei of anterior horn, that is tractus tecta spinalis, goes to anterior horn nuclei and then goes to striated muscles here, and the same here. This diagram you need to draw, not necessary to draw this straight cochlea. You start from receptors in organ of Corti, first neuron spiral ganglion, vestibulocochlear nerve, nucleus cochlearis dorsalis ventralis, then lemniscus, here it is lemniscus lateralis, third neuron in medial geniculate body, cortical center in superior temporal gyrus, and subcortical center in inferior colliculus, tractus tectus spinalis, motor nuclei, and striated muscles. Now, some words about vestibular or statokinetic analyzer. That is a vestibule. 1 minute, wait. Here it is. What is this color? Yellow, maybe, or orange, I don't know. That is bony labyrinth, and this blue color, that is membranous labyrinth, and here it is only membranous, and that is a vestibulum. And in vestibule, membranous labyrinth makes two structures, that is utriculus, that is small uterus, and it has name utriculus, and this small sacculus, utriculus and sacculus. Utriculus, that is place where these ducts, these semicircular ducts, ductus semicircularis anterior, ductus semicircularis posterior, and ductus semicircularis lateralis, all of them opens into utriculus. And this sacculus, it has communication with ductus cochlearis. That is, this is ductus cochlearis, and cochlear duct joined with sacculus with the help of ductus reunions. Here it is, ductus reunions. And now, utriculus and sacculus joined together with the help of ductus utriculus saccularis, and this duct continues to endolymphatic duct. Here it is absent, should be continuation, and this endolymphatic duct, ductus endolymphaticus, opens into saccus endolymphaticus. That is membranous labyrinth. Here it is bony labyrinth, and that is membranous. And now, each semicircular duct has two crus. This is ampullar crus, crus ampullare, here and here and here. Each duct, anterior duct, has ampullar crus, posterior duct has ampullar crus, sorry, that is lateral. Anterior duct, ampullar crus, posterior duct, ampullar crus, and these two crus join together and makes common crus, crus commune. And lateral duct, it has ampullar crus and simplex, crus simplex, simple crus. One crus simplex, one crus common, and three ampullar, 1, 2, 3. And ampullar crus, each of these ampullar crus, inside it has crest, crista ampullaris, here, here, and here. Crista ampullaris, that is place where we have receptors of vestibular analyzer. And the same receptors present in utriculus and in sacculus. We have macula of utriculus and macula in sacculus. This macula, two macula in utriculus and in sacculus, and crista ampullaris, they are receptors of statokinetic analyzer. Look here. My diagram is diagram of statokinetic or vestibular analyzer. Receptors in crista ampullaris, and in macula of sacculus and macula of utriculus. And from these receptors, axons goes to ganglion. Who know what is the name of this ganglion? In cochlear part, we have spiral ganglion. In vestibular part, we have vestibular ganglion, ganglion vestibulare. That is ganglion vestibulare. And from this ganglion, vestibular part of vestibular cochlear nerve, it goes to pons. It goes to pons. That is midbrain, here it is thalamus, that is internal capsule, and brain cortex. and here it is cerebellum. Here it is inferior peduncles, that is superior peduncle. Vestibular cochlear nerve, it goes to pons, and how many vestibular nuclei? 4. Nucleus vestibularis superior, inferior, medial, and lateral. And finish in this nuclei, in nuclei vestibularis. That is second neuron. Nuclei vestibularis, that is second neuron. From superior vestibular nucleus, axons, through lemniscus medialis, that is lemniscus medialis, goes to lateral nuclei of thalamus, that is third neuron, and goes to brain cortex. And where is cortical center of vestibular analyzer? Gyrus temporalis, medius, and gyrus temporalis inferior. Yes, you're right. What else? Nucleus vestibularis inferior, it gives tractus vestibulospinalis. Tractus vestibulospinalis goes to spinal cord, in which funiculus it takes place. Remember, vestibulospinalis is here in anterior funiculus. It goes to anterior funiculus and finish in motor nucleus, and from motor nucleus continues to striated muscles, that is involuntary, unconscious coordination of movements and balance. The same vestibular nuclei have communication with cerebellum through inferior peduncle, that is tractus vestibulocerebellaris, and from cerebellum we have tractus cerebellovestibularis, two-way connection. Tractus, here it is, tractus vestibulocerebellaris, and cerebellovestibularis. What else? We have communication between vestibular nuclei and nuclei of some cranial nerves. In midbrain, that is nucleus of third cranial nerve, nucleus nervio-oculomotorii. The same in midbrain, we have communication with nucleus of fourth cranial nerve, trochlear nerve, nucleus nervi trochlearis. In pons, that is nucleus of sixth cranial nerve, nucleus nervi abducensis, and in medulla oblongata, here it is nucleus ambiguus for nervus accessorius, 11th cranial nerve. And this fascicle, which makes communication between nuclei vestibularis with nuclei of third, fourth, sixth, and 11th cranial nerve, that is fasciculus, help me, longitudinalis, what? Medialis. Fasciculus longitudinalis medialis, and this fascicle help to coordination of movements of eyes and neck. For example, I fixed my eyes in this subject and I move head, but my eyes continues to see to this pen. Why? Because when I move my head, receptors in the ear, they stimulate, and impulses goes to vestibular nuclei, and vestibular nuclei send stimulate to muscles, or to first of all motor nucleus of third, fourth, and sixth cranial nerve, which supplies muscles of eye, and 11th cranial nerve, it supplies muscles of the neck. Trapezius, sternocleidomastoid muscle. That is why when I move my head and neck, I can fix eyes and continues to see in subject if it is necessary for me. This is statokinetic or vestibular analyzer, and communication with spinal cord through tractus vestibulospinalis, with cerebellum through tractus vestibulocerebellaris in inferior peduncle, and fasciculus longitudinalis medialis, which join nuclei of cranial nerves with vestibular nuclei. Both of these diagrams present in your textbook, and you need to draw both of these diagrams. Your questions? Today that is all.